Well, hello there, guys. Welcome back to the Nexus of Geek. This is new DM Ariel, and what I want to start doing now is today's Monday. Well, by the time I post this video online, it might be late Monday or early Tuesday, early March 2025. And I wanted to start doing at the beginning of the week some stories, story videos, personal stories, not necessarily always gaming related or Dungeons and Dragons or geek related content, but I will talk about some of my own personal stories. And today, as you can see by my background, and I took a picture of my gaming RPG role playing game gaming shelf and my collection, which admittedly has a lot of five, fifth edition 5e books, both the core books and the some of the adventures and campaign guides. But it all started back in 2019 or 20ish, around there, and when I really wanted to complete my orange spined first edition books. Some of them are the originals. Most of them, the majority of them, were originals that I back when I started playing the game back when I was a boy, 13 years old, in the early 80s. And then I stopped playing the game, even though I knew second edition. I didn't really play second edition. It was I had started college, and homework and life getting in the way, so I never really played the second edition version of the game. It wasn't until around I would say around when fourth edition came out, early in the fourth edition run, circa 2008, 2009ish, around that era, and then I really got back into it in 2014, 15, when fifth edition was barely coming up. But I was still playing fourth edition with a gaming group that I found when I was working in Texas, and we played fourth edition games. They were a lot of fun, and then and then I started DMing in 2021 or so, about a year into the COVID pandemic, and I just started DMing. Sometimes in the beginning with a mask, we had our table running, and it was 2021ish. And I have the same campaign going on, the same 5e campaign that's been going. But all of this is to say, to preface this story with really an examination of two things. One, there was the recent decision that I, as a dungeon master, along with a lot of fellow DMs and fellow gamers, had to make, or whether to switch from the 5th edition 2014 rules to and get our hands on the new core books for 2024. You know, this book, and you know, the subsequent ones. Out of by now, we already have our hands on all the three core books, including the DM's guide and the new monster manual, which just came out last about a month ago, almost a month ago. And you had to, well, I I was curious to see what some of the changes would be. I really haven't talked about much of that in this channel, simply because I haven't played a lot of the. I own the all three books now, and I've had them since. I have the player's handbook since I got back from Gen Con. Well, a little bit after when I got back from Gen Con last summer. I didn't get it there, but the player's handbook I've had since November or so, a little bit after it came out, late November. And but I haven't really, even though my friends were very interested in running 2024 rules. At some point, we were in the middle of a 5e campaign, or not in the middle, but we were very far along in a 5e campaign, and I didn't think that it was prudent to go ahead and switch up because I still didn't really know what 2024 was all about. I did subsequently create a couple of characters for a game that never took place, and I at least know what the character creation was. And so I've never really talked about. I knew that I was gonna get all the core books, and but I've never really and add them to my collection. But I never really talked about how what I felt, whether I was excited about it, whether I was going to address the logistics of it. And I just haven't talked much about the 2024 rule set because I honestly haven't really played it a whole lot since the books all came out. I think I did. I think I did put out a video about the monster manual because which was the last one that released, and whether they fixed the CR problems or not. And you can look at this channel and decide for yourself whether some of those issues were eventually fixed or not. But I think that I want to discuss whether, two things. The main thing is, I think I am done purchasing, almost done purchasing 5E material for the time being, or 2024 material. There's a lot of modules, adventure paths, things for me to reference at this point, maps, assets, and it's not that I'm burned out on it at all, although that I have a lot of animosity, like a lot of people seem to have online these days. They're pretty sour on Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, which own the IP, but for different reasons, and some of them they're valid reasons. Everybody has their own opinion, and you're entitled to that. I am not dissatisfied. I don't think D&D is too woke or any of the other nonsense and criticism that I hear online all the time. I just believe that I don't want to pick up more material, primarily because at one point I wanted to get all the 5e books, which I put a big dent on that, and I wanted to get all of them. But now I feel that a lot of the games that I want to run in the future are online through Discord, which made digital assets, just because of the just because of the ease, the convenience, and the flexibility that allows our us as players to get together on a virtual space. And so, even though I still enjoy owning all the physical products, and I decided I think the last book that I really want to get my hands on is the Ruins of Vecna, which is like the one of the last adventure books that they put out, which is the Vecna adventure. I'm not a huge fan of Vecna or anything like that. I just want to. That one seems to cater to the just the way that it's described, dimensions blending into each other type of thing, and it kind of looks like. It kind of has the same feel of a campaign that I've been running the last couple of years, where a lot of teleportation and blending of realities and worlds happen. So I kind of want to see how they approach it on an official adventure rather than the adventure that I've been kind of homebrewing myself for the last couple of years. So that's really the only book or material that I really would like to get from the 5e catalog now. I think that I don't necessarily need to round out or pick up the rest of the stuff. And there are some releases for 2024 that are interesting, but again, I don't know whether I'm gonna be making a full switch to 2024 very soon. And do I regret having picked up the new core books or being excited about them, or are there some systems in here that I want to run? Yeah, sure. I mean, no, I don't regret it, but I do question whether it was altogether necessary, or was just I, as a DM, trying to appease my players because they were really excited about it. And like, okay, sure, we'll give it a chance. At the very least, we can use the mechanics and that we like and incorporate them. And I did kind of run. I haven't done a deep dive with the DMG, but I might do that in the future. And I did. There are some rules in there I do like, and I do want to incorporate into the existing mechanics. But also, it's kind of torn because even though I don't hate fifth edition like a lot of old-time OSR enthusiasts do, I mean, I've also been going back and playing first edition AD&D, and even though AD&D is completely different than the modern game in many aspects, and and there's a lot of people that can explain that better than I can, or if you're curious, you can Google and check out YouTube videos on AD&D or first edition or OSR, and you will understand the big differences between the systems. Even though it's not perfect, the more I read about and the more I look back at my old first edition material, the very OG, well, as OG as you can get moving forward away from like the basics stuff, the very OG stuff still really gives me that sense of wonder and nostalgia that when I first picked up Dungeons and Dragons, even though I didn't know how to play it and I kind of homebrewed a whole lot and made a lot of mistakes while I was making it. I think I haven't been really excited about an RPG system after that until maybe the mid '90s when I picked up the Vampire the Masquerade book, and I used that system like once or twice. Never really got into it too much because I couldn't find players that were really into it. I got my cousin and my sister to play with me a couple of games initially, and it wasn't even the main Vampire the Masquerade book or system. It was Vampire the Dark Ages, which had a more of a different feel to it. Vampire adventures set in the Dark Ages or like a medieval type setting similar to D&D. So I kind of really gravitated to that one a lot. But after that, I can't really say that I have really been all that excited about an RPG system since that time. I mean, I played through 5e and I don't hate it. Like I said, I played through 4e and I had a lot of fun playing 4e adventures. But I'm still waiting to get that feeling back, really, about playing a system that it's going to recapture that same magic. I don't know. The 2024 book is system looks very good. It's shiny and it's new and it has some interesting mechanics, but it really doesn't feel as though if there's something very I don't even know what the right term is. It's very safe, very commercial. I don't know. If I think of a better adjective in the future, I will probably call it that. But I don't want to ramble on too much. I just wanted to give you a story about my experience with collecting these books and being with this game for so long, and coming to a couple of conclusions. Number one, in regards to the in regards to the 2024 system, it's too early to tell whether I will continue moving forward with it. I don't hate the books, but maybe in about a month or so, I'll do another story video and tell you how I'm feeling about it with more experience. Hopefully having played a few either online or in person with them. But I don't feel like I want to get more, at least D&D RPG books. I might pick up some other 5e adjacent systems. I have a Castles and Crusades, older version of Castles and Crusades, but they're all pretty much the same. I think there's like 8th edition now, and I do have Dungeon Crawl Classics, the core book, and I'd like to try a few of those. And I even want to start picking up some of the old TSR modules so I can play some more first edition games, or try to run some of the classic first edition games as they were written with some modifications, whether in person or online. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Um, I'm sorry if this was a little rambly, but I wanted to make this video and talking about where I see myself in the future of the hobby. And one, I'm probably gonna play a lot more Discord virtual games with my friends online as we've been doing over the weekends. And in terms of running 5e game, I think once I wrap up this current campaign, I may just start a new one, but maybe apply some OSR rules to it so it'll feel a little bit less, a little more challenging to run for the players, as opposed to, it's kind of like 5e right now feels kind of like a cakewalk after, the characters get so powerful after a certain point that it doesn't really feel like you can throw many challenges. And that was one of, I guess I'll close out by talking about the Monster Manual. That was one of the 2024 book, this one, which is the Monster Manual, the last one that came out. And again, you can reference my video about whether I thought they made significant changes to the monsters so that it would they would be posed a little bit more of a challenge. And I know that you can tweak it, give it more hit points, or make it deadlier. I think they moved in the right direction in terms. They didn't really fix the CR problem in my mind. I don't know if they can, because the game is not really set up for that. It's really set up for like challenges in the early levels. And having encounters with different CR monsters that would be more tougher, more of a challenge in the early levels than they are later on. But they did tweak it gave it a few tweaks, like increasing some of the initiative bonuses so that maybe the creatures that you throw against your party will be able to take multi-attacks, but like really go earlier in the initiative order, which kind of helps, depending on how diverse or what your party looks like. But overall, I think it's a fine bestiary, it's a fine monster manual, but it doesn't work. It doesn't really work well for the later levels. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, that's been my Monday story, talking about my experience with my very limited experience with 2024. Conclusion: the jury's still out on 2024. Whether I will pursue it or just stick with 5e. I will not be purchasing more 5e materials. I think I have plenty now to last for a really long time. The only one that I really, like I said, would even consider would be the Vecna book, just to round out some of the inspiration for those type of adventures that I like to homebrew and to run. And I'd like to try more first edition campaigns, whether as a player or as a DM. And I think more and more, it's probably going to have to be online, because that's where people are playing on Discord, and it's easy to kind of round up a group, even if you don't know the players very well. If you can't get friends or long-term associates or gamers to play with you, you can always find probably. It's a lot easier, let's put it that way, to find a group online that you can play with on a regular basis. So anyway, I will be making more of these. This has been the Nexus of Geek. Thank you for listening to my rant, and have a good week.